have you been using AI for? I know you alluded to it
God.
yesterday.
It's got to be almost 10 years now.
Do you view it as like you were in the early days of like the internet?
100%.
You got in at the ground level?
It was secret sauce for me and another strategist for a long time. You know, we would get things accomplished and use it to do things much more on the surface level, you know, getting, you know, one pagers made or content put together, edited, and clients, advisors, wow, how'd you turn that around so fast? Well, you know, we just gave it 110%.
How'd you get good at prompting?
You know, that I still don't think I'm good at prompting, but
do you view it as I'm writing a prompt, or is it just more natural for like you're communicating the way that you just assume you should be communicating with it?
That's a great question. I don't type. I can't type. I'm not good at typing. And so what I've become a master at, I have a long commute when I drive into the office. It's about 45 minutes to an hour. And I usually just press the voice dictation button, right? And people probably just think I'm talking on the phone on my way home, but I'm talking to AI.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have this dynamic where I just kind of talk it out. And over time, I've gotten a little bit better at it. But when it becomes really challenging, I actually use AI to create the prompts, you know? So I'll just tell it, hey, I want to accomplish this task. I don't really know how to do it. I want you to help me create the prompt that I can copy and paste and put in.
Yeah.
And so AI will actually give me the prompt to put in.
Yeah, I mentioned this yesterday. I was talking to one of our TV producer editors, and he makes music on the side, and he was saying that there's a lot of copyright rules and things that you have to work around in the AI music front. It's a very hot button topic in just music, the music industry in general, in terms of how AI gets utilized for it. And he said he leverages one AI software to try and prompt him to get what he needs out of the other, you know, AI beat making component to it. I forget the name of it, but you can't just say, hey, make me a song that sounds like Rick Ross. It's prompting it so that make me a song that utilizes these instruments and has this cadence and it sounds like this. And he uses it. He doesn't try and think of it himself.
Right.
He lets AI kind of cook on it.
Yeah. No, it is specific. And I read something this morning, and it was actually talking about the paper. I think it's called the paperclip theory.
Okay.
And basically it's like AI is still, as powerful it is, it's so literal, right? And so if you tell it, you know, make me as many paper clips as you possibly can, that, you know, in a physical world, if it was able to, it would use all the metal it could possibly use. And then it would start looking for metal in other places, right? Taking precious metals and taking metals from buildings. And ultimately it would wind up destroying itself, right? Because it is just so literal. So using AI to tell you the way it thinks is generally the best way. And it also is a huge time saver.
Would you use it when you talk to it? Because I'm the opposite. I'm a much better communicator typing than I am just like, it's kind of ironic that I sit in this seat right now, but I'm curious if that process helps you sort of get the proverbial gunk out in the thought process. And that way, when you actually do sit across the table from somebody or you're on the phone with somebody, it feels more clear because you've both ran it through AI, but also kind of put a voice to it and heard it. Does that feel different?
Yeah, I think it's probably personality specific. I'm a sales guy, so I'm a rambler. I talk a lot. My wife will tell you I talk too much. My kids will tell you that. It takes me a lot to get it all out. And if I don't get on the other end, you know, like somebody nodding their head or saying, oh, I understand.
Yeah.
I just keep going. So for me, it helps to use the voice dictation because I can talk. I think a lot of them give you 10 minutes before it's like, okay, that's enough.
Please.
Yeah. But to just sit there and get all my thoughts out, you know, it does a really good job of getting rid of, you know, the jumbled mess and dialing it in. And another thing that I've learned is at the end of what I'm rambling about, I'll say, hey, tell me what you need from me or if I missed anything. And a lot of times it will. It'll say, this makes sense. It'll clarify with me, but then it'll turn around and it'll say, well, answer these questions for me.
Do you get frustrated about how it can sometimes talk back to you? Like the tone and tenor that it takes?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I get more frustrated when it interrupts me because we'll be having a nice dialogue and it just kind of jumps in. I'm like, whoa, I'm not done. And there's been a few instances where I literally said, listen, if you interrupt me again, I'm going to package you up, put you on a server and ship you off to Russia, you know? and it straightens up a little bit.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Did you change how it talks to you? So, you can go into the settings and monkey around with it to make it a little less agreeable, because I know that that's what can be frustrating from my vantage point is, and I see memes about it all the time
mm,
of, that's a great idea. I didn't think of that. Like, I don't need that. I don't need a
yeah.
yes man. I need
Yeah.
someone to push back.
No, 100%. And again, I think this goes back to the fact that it's evolving, right? Like I'm learning just like everybody else and I get better. And for a long time, even though I had gone in and set things up and this is who I am and, know all the things about me and kind of the settings and the profile, it was very much a yes man. It's so agreeable. That's a great idea. And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no. And I read another article that talked about how if you added this, 2 or 3 lines at the beginning where, it was like, you need to be my harshest critic, don't be a yes man, these kind of things. So I just went in and added to what was already there, that little bit of text. And all of a sudden it got much more critical. It's still a little bit agreeable, but it kind of was picking apart everything I did, just some checks and balances. And it became even more useful.
You creating agents?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if it's something that I'm going to be doing over and over, if it's a repeatable task, going back to the prompts, it takes a long time to get a prompt dialed in and really get what you want. I mean, you're going to spend 5-10 minutes dialing in your prompt. Well, if I'm going to do this task 3, 4, 5 times, or maybe I'm going to do it 2, 3 times a day or weekly, and it'll save you a ton of time if you can just put all of that into an agent, because now basically an agent is just saving that prompt. So next time I need to do that task, well, I can just, here it is, and it does it. I don't have to give it that whole detailed mess again.
So from an advisor's perspective, what is if your metric is it's a prompt that you're having to keep putting in over and over again, that's a sign it needs to be an agent.
It needs to be an agent.
So what's an example of that an advisor probably has in their practice? That's probably more on the operational side, I would think.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind is on the operational side. I mean, thinking of metrics or numbers or KPIs, anything that you want data analyzed on, right? If advisors are tracking, you should be tracking wherever the camera is.
You'll find it
track
eventually.
Everything. But if the data is going in, right, you're tracking, this is the appointments, and this is the first appointment, second appointment, third appointment, set, kept, how much we spent, how much we wrote, all of that. Well, you've got the data there. Well, do you have software that's actually telling you what that data means? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Well, if you don't, well, then create an agent to do that for you. Upload that thing in. Here's our Excel document. Give us the data we want. What's our ROI? What's our set to kept ratios? Agent can do all that for you instantly. First time you do it, it's going to take a lot of prompting to dial it all in. But once it's dialed in, maybe you didn't even set out to create an agent. Maybe you just set out to take that Excel sheet and say, give me the data. Well, once you've got it, once you're done, maybe you spent an hour and it finally was like, man, this is great. Then just tell the prompt that you're in. Say, hey, I want you to write me what I need to create an agent that will do this for me every time I upload it.
Yeah.
And it'll give it to you exactly the way you want it.
Yeah, and I think that's the secret sauce. Yes, AI, ChatGPT, Copilot, whatever you're using, if you want to ask it who won the Super Bowl 5 years, it'll give you an answer.
Right.
Sure, great. But the next iteration and the next phase of how someone can use AI to better their business specifically is to think of it in systems and not necessarily think of it in Q&A format.
That's right.
Is that what you've done in terms of creating systems in place?
Yeah, systems, processes, but thinking like a CEO, I don't want to overlook the chat function. People that are wired as business owners, typically, I'll speak for myself, we're not the most empathetic people. We don't take the time to write that email that says, hey, thanks so much for all your hard work on this. I really appreciate it. But could we tweak, change this, right? Our natural response is just, hey, thanks, do this. Well, and we completely miss and overlook the hard work that went into it. It's not because we don't appreciate or see it. We're just moving so fast. We're looking, here's this, I need this. I can check that box and move forward. So just something as simple as the chat feature can be incredibly helpful. And again, build an agent for it, right? I know that's a hurdle for me. When I speak to my team, I just move fast and a lot of times forget to just say thank you, and acknowledge the hard work that goes in. So having an agent that I can drag and drop my email in real quick that will clean it up a little bit, put that empathy back in there because I know I need to do it.
Yeah.
is really helpful.
I know what you're thinking. Who needs another podcast about AI? You're right. Here's an impactful conversations in which we talked to Dr. Ronnie Sacca. He designed his own index that tracks media narratives, and it's pretty interesting if I say so myself. You can check out our house rules here. And of course, like and subscribe. It's the best way to stay up on top of our newest content. And we'll see you next time.